What is up, everyone? We are back today with another post from the Neville sub. This one is called Manifesting Revelation and Insight, and that is an appropriate title. It is indeed an insight. So, wow, I was meditating and God, my inner being, just revealed how much music, TV, and social media can distort my view on things. For the last few years, I've had a negative outlook on men, despite never being in a terrible relationship during my life, growing up in a home with a happily married parents of 40 plus years. I'm not married at the moment, but plan to be soon, and was in a long-term relationship with someone who treated me pretty damn well even after we split up and continues to treat me well. My sister is happily married and I have cousins and close family. I've heard of bad relationships in my family, but it wasn't even in my close everyday circle. But I realized this animosity towards men didn't even stem from my experience. I would get upset that so many women were single mothers or grew up without fathers, and most men were deadbeats, when that wasn't my experience. So I know for sure that I create my own reality, meaning my thoughts, views, experiences, and beliefs create how I see and interact with the world. But also, I do believe that the collective consciousness creates. So I'm part of the human collective consciousness. The female collective, black female collective, and all these different groups hold certain beliefs. So even if it doesn't pertain to you directly, you may still be influenced by the beliefs these groups held. I think this may be what Vadim Zeland calls pendulums in reality transurfing. Shout out to transurfing and Vadim. That's also something that Eckhart Tolle mentions when he talks about the pain body, that different collectives and different groups of people, she's mentioning a black collective here, you could be part of the Native American collective or part of the African, there's just all these different, you could be part of the Jewish collective. And all of these different collectives of people have, and all of them in general in the world, sometimes we focus on what is in our present day, the minorities of the present day, but throughout history, every single group of people has gone through a lot of adversity and collectives of people and, wars and genocides and all of these different terrible things. And so everybody, if you relate to, you have a pain body that exists within you. And that's what Eckhart Tolle actually discusses in the book. That's a powerful way to realize that sometimes when we get triggered in our everyday events, it could be bringing up not only your own personal past, but your own collective consciousness, past of the collective consciousness that you identify with. And that's why sometimes something that can seem so innocuous or so trivial can be so trivialing, and it can send somebody into a absolute violent rage or whirlwind or despair, because there are these dormant emotions in this pain body, as Eckhart would call it. So anyways, for example, she goes on with the post. For example, the belief that men are all liars and cheaters. I've never witnessed it growing up. I've never been cheated on, and it hasn't been my personal life experience, but through music, social media, and television, this belief filtered through to me. I love Nicki Minaj, Cardi, and Megan, and I used to think that their music was super empowering, constantly affirming that women don't need a man and can do everything alone. But now when I reflect on this music, these are affirmations that are played over and over again in my head. Even watching Real Housewives, how much the public thrives on negative relationship drama and whose husband is cheating or etc. I realized this is where some of my negative beliefs stem from. Thankful I haven't been in horrible relationships, but I just had an overall negative view of men. So yes, imagination creates reality, but in my experience, imagining for 15 minutes and then allowing the world to fill your mind with craziness defeats the purpose. I hope this post helps other people take a look at their lives and what they're doing continually throughout the day that may affect their manifestations. And I think that is so well put by Timo446. And we've got a couple comments here. Accepting is affirming and creating is happening. Accepting is affirming is creating is happening is experiencing. It all starts first with a mild acceptance of something, and suddenly that something becomes our reality. I am happy for you, OP. To see through the old programming is to see through the limitations. May we all be good guards of our hearts. May our mind be on the right side of things. May our gaze turn inwards, and may our words reflect the truth. Blanc Chenin says, that's why I limit my movies, books, TV shows, music, get off TikTok, etc., because there's so much negativity attached to men, women, and relationships. TikTok is the worst. The dating advice is atrocious and damaging. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Social media has made dating and relationships a tug of war, constant competition of who can care less, a men versus woman, when in reality we're supposed to be a team. Exactly. This brings me to the conversations I've been having lately with my partner, Devin, because a lot of the time, the people that she runs into throughout the day, or the people that you see and on TV or whatever, in our current society, everything is framed up so much. There's so much toxicity. And she has friends or coworkers that they're constantly fighting. They're constantly arguing. They're constantly, like lying to each other, keeping things from each other. And I say this to her all the time, that we are supposed to be a team. That is really what this is supposed to be at the end of the day. And at the foundation of any relationship is communication. I firmly believe that. If you don't have communication, if you have miscommunication, misunderstandings, that is where the large majority of small issues compound over time and turn into big problems that damage and ultimately ruin relationships. So we talk about this a lot, and we talk and we're open. And one thing I really appreciate about her, and I've told her this, is that men and women are different. We are fundamentally, biologically, at a core level, we're different. The way that we operate, the way that we think, the way that we process, communicate. So I tell her sometimes, think of it like I'm just kind of dumb, because in relation to her, men are by and largely less socially aware, less socially in tune. I think it's just the way that we evolved. The women are much more attuned to emotion. They can sense micro expressions, sense all these different things that as men we may not be as sensitive to or aware of. And a lot of the time, if she's feeling a certain way, I tell her, look, you're gonna have to just tell me straight up like I'm a 5-year-old, because otherwise I may not pick up on what you're hinting at, or what you're, getting at or implying, without you just being straight up and like letting me know. So if you just feel like and consider like I'm just dumb and you're gonna have to spell it out for me, that will avoid so many problems that I see happen in so many relationships. Because the woman generally, it can go the other way around too, but generally speaking, in my experience, it's been the woman is feeling a certain way and wants the partner to realize it, but if he doesn't realize it, then she gets even more upset, and it causes a big rift between the two people. With the same thing being said, the communicate, and then being open and expressing to the person what you actually feel, what you appreciate, what you don't appreciate, can avoid so much, because otherwise it just builds up, and then it causes this inner resentment, and each person is then harboring this resentment. The sooner and the quicker that you hash it out and let each other know what's going on with you and inside, or that you didn't appreciate something that they did, or that you did appreciate something that you did. And that's all equally important too, is showing each other that appreciation and doing things that show appreciation, and then verbally telling the other person too as well. And knowing, there's that book on the love languages. Some people respond more to physical affection. Some people are more verbal. Some people respond more to gestures and gifts or things like that. There's all these different ways to show appreciation. It's very, very crucial that it's done, and it's very crucial that we get back as a society and as a collective in the world, as she said, to this mentality where we are supposed to be a team. That is supposed to be the ultimate union between a man and a woman, is to be a team and to be better together. That specific person affirmations that I just released, that's what it's all about. It is all about affirming that you are in that type of relationship where you have the perfect communication. You have the relationship, the ultimate relationship of your dreams, that is healthy, that is where you both are admiring one another and you're both stronger together because of you are together. You both bring out the best in each other. You both build each other up, and there's now a synergy operating. And it is almost as if between your consciousness and the other person's consciousness, you've created a third consciousness now that is more attuned. You're filling in each other's gaps. And now there is this third, like, higher brain or higher level of consciousness that you have, because your awareness is creating a synergistic effect that is more powerful and more strong than the equal parts combined. It is creating something even more strong than that. And that is what Napoleon Hill talks about in the mastermind concept in his book, Think and Grow Rich, and in his other books. Napoleon Hill is such a OG of the space of self-development, but his techniques in the manifesting community, I don't see that many people talking about him, but his book is literally called Think and Grow Rich. He's all about manifesting. He's all about envisioning that thing, affirming to yourself every single morning. That's his routine that he talks about, is to write out your goals and to affirm it and visualize it every single morning. And that is one thing that I did in my sales job that actually propelled me to become the #1 rookie of sales in my particular region, back when I was doing that. Now, there's also a movie that was released recently called the Think and Grow Rich movie, and I was actually watching it earlier, and it's pretty awesome. You got celebrities on there like Rob Dyrdek, different people that are super successful, and it really is cool. I've only just started watching it, but I would be happy to do a review on that, because I think that that's something like a summarization. I think it's something that could be valuable. But in any case, what I was saying, not to take it too far off track, is that the mastermind is something that has existed between men and women in that capacity, not only with a group of people, which is traditionally, the mastermind can be a group of 2 or more people that come together, that share a common goal, that are working towards that goal. And that's why also nowadays, surrounding yourself with other like-minded people, and you can do it through the internet. There's a lot of groups now that have Discord groups. They have places where you can get together with other people. I'm in a group, for instance, for editing and for growing your social media presence. And that is run by an influencer named Dane Macbeth. And his group is cool. And then there's other groups that I've joined over the years. And there's another group run by Arlen Moore called Tribe Accelerator. But all of these different groups nowadays, these are modern masterminds, and they're modern masterminds that you can get into regardless of your physical location. Because back in the day, it used to be that if you were somewhere, you're in a small town, you don't have access to maybe the types of minds and the types of people that you would like to associate with, that you would like to get together with. But now we have that option, so it's so beautiful that we do. And getting back to this couples thing, is Henry Ford is an example. Einstein is an example. You hear stories about these people, and you hear, once you kind of peel back the curtain, that Henry Ford's wife was very, very intimately involved in his business, and that he would not have achieved nearly the amount of success he did without her. And she actually was coming up with a lot of the ideas. Same thing I've heard about Einstein as well. And so these partnerships between a man and a woman particularly can be extremely, extremely powerful. And what sucks is that in today's day and age, you have so many people combating each other more often of the time. And actually, that is actually sucking each other's energy. That is taking each other's energy away. The more that you fight, the more that you argue about stupid, petty shit or whatever it is, the less energy that you now have to accomplish your goals, to manifest what it is that you want, to get achieve what your dreams, to get that dream life, that dream result that you want in your life. And so this is very, very crucial. And she really hit the nail on the head, because this is something that, can be controversial. It can be viewed as a conspiracy almost, but I do think that there is some sort of agenda right now going on, and has been going on for some time, that is dividing the traditional family unit and really pulling people against each other and pitting people against each other. And you see this all across media, social media, television media, where regardless, whether it's politically, whether it's division by sex, division by race, this is not healthy. This is not taking us in a positive direction. We have to realize that we are human beings, and that men and women have coexisted for thousands and thousands of years. yes, maybe the treatments of, not even maybe, but we know that the treatment of women had been, and the treatment of certain racial groups and the treatments of, like, we have to acknowledge that these are real things in the past, but we have to come past that now, and we have to work together as a team, because there is no healthy future for us as a human race constantly fighting between each other and putting divisions between each other. For as many toxic relationships that people are portraying on social media, it's just like this person says. I mean, I've seen so many healthy relationships in my life, and I've seen so many beautiful relationships where the man and the woman work together and there's harmony in the relationship. And let's focus on that. And if you want to look at the negatives too, I mean, there's tons of women too that do things, but it seems to be that in the media in today's day and age, it's almost like the man is always wrong, and we don't have any sort of, it seems to be at least, that the innocent until proven guilty thing is kind of thrown out the window in today's cancel culture. It's just like, oh, we'll accuse this guy of this, and now the public thinks that he's guilty because somebody said this. And it's just like, there needs to at some point be some sort of shift in the pendulum swing. I do see it happening a bit, because you've got these girls at the gym that are recording guys just kind of hanging out at the gym and then saying, oh, this guy was creeping on me. And thankfully, there are people that are actually coming and saying, oh, actually, no, like, you look stupid for posting this video, because the guy was really just minding his own business. He might have said something to you and you're in a public place, and that's perfectly reasonable, whether he asked if you're using a machine or whether he, But regardless, not to get too far off track here, I really like what she said, and I really think this is something that we need to focus on. We need to focus on what it is that we want to manifest, especially when it comes between the sexes, or when it becomes between family members, or anything of that nature in our relationships in general, and not allow the negativity of the pendulums of media affect us. Anyways, guys, appreciate you guys staying tuned for this longer video here. I think it was important to be said, and I do have that new affirmation track that I released that is directly created, designed for manifesting your specific person and creating that harmonious relationship, because that is at the core foundation what you need. You don't want to focus on all this toxic shit. I mean, you really don't. You're really going to create more of that if you do. If you focus on being a team and working together, you will create a relationship that is much more longer lasting, much more fulfilling and happier and productive, to be honest. You'll be able to achieve so much together with your person rather than being at odds with each other. And that is what I would wish for you and anybody watching this video, and really anybody, because the whole point in my mind of being in a relationship is to be better for being in the relationship, to grow. So anyways, with that being said, guys, drop me a like, drop me a comment, hit me with a subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next vid.